Good afternoon, everyone. It's Dr. Gershon with another BetterHealth webinar and podcast. And I am absolutely thrilled to be here today with an outstanding group of young founder entrepreneurs from Techstars in New York. Endeavor is collaborating with Techstars in a very direct and purposeful way to be able to bring a spotlight on these amazing companies. Incredible founders with mission driven businesses. And it is my sincere pleasure to be a mentor to Doctor Online that is really looking at exciting ways to use AI technology to expand access to primary care, mental health, and to be able to improve patients' lives. In, in this context, I want to thank everyone for all their incredible support for the BetterHealth platform. We have now just about 1.2 million views in the past 10 months. And we're really looking to accelerate that user experience in every possible way with collaboration and partnerships with iconic organizations like the New York Stock Exchange and Microsoft and Google, many of the consulting firms like Accenture and Deloitte, as a way to be able to highlight the important platform that I think represents a lot of the mission-driven focus of BetterHealth, which is partnering, networking, collaboration, and deal making. And and this is important in this day and age because liquidity is really at an all-time low. We expect over the next several years that the liquidity crisis will actually worsen, possibly leading into a debt crisis. And this means that the important aspect of building, growing, sustaining a company rests on the relationships that you build with industry partners. This network allows you to be a resilient CEO founder, allows you to adapt, pivot, and grow in an environment that's supportive. And so we're here today really to respect what is an important change in mindset at the founder CEO level. In that regard, I want to highlight these incredible founders: Pedro Lopes, Tiago Cadeiras, Jose Lima, who have come together and made a very clear statement that they are coming from Europe to the United States to be able to bring the technology that has been successfully rolled out in a new emerging company in Europe, and they're bringing those services and that technology to the US population. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for coming here today, Jose, Pedro, Tiago. And let's just start with a brief introduction. Perhaps Pedro can lead us off and tell us a little bit about yourself briefly and a little bit about the mission and the vision that you have as three incredible founders. And excuse me in advance because I have a bit of a drippy nose. I have a little cold.
Hello, Martin, and hello, everyone at home. First of all, we'd like to thank you for inviting us to be on the Better Health podcast, and obviously, as always, for the warm welcome. I've got to say the collaborative efforts that both you and Endeavor, along with Techstars, have been a real game changer for us. So thank you very much for this amazing welcoming to New York. And answering your question, well, I can start with a brief introduction about myself, and then I'll pass the words to Jose and Tiago. And so I have an entrepreneurial background. I started building companies and solving problems back in 2016. It's frankly my passion to do this. And I joined Doctor Online about a year and a half ago. The company is pretty recent, so we only have 3 years operating. And the main goal and the main objective is to bring the company over to the US. And so you'll see a lot of me around, and we'll have more than enough time to have amazing conversations like we have been. And so I'll allow Jose to introduce himself as well.
Hi, Martin. Hi, everyone listening. I'm an electrical engineer, first of all. So I'm a PhD in electrical engineering, and I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Doctor Online. So by having this academic background, I have a particular interest in technology, and that's one of the parts that we are trying to bring here to Doctor Online. It's a different and innovative approach for the company and for the way that we approach healthcare. And so we've started this, as Pedro was saying, around 3 years ago. And this all started also with one of my best friends, or my best friend actually, Tiago Cadeiras. Tiago and myself, we know each other for a long time now, for over almost 30 years. And yeah, basically we started this by founding that there were some gaps on the healthcare solutions in the way that healthcare is delivered to the community. So I will pass the word now to Tiago.
Okay. Hello, Martin, everybody at home or in the office or in the car, it doesn't matter. So I'm Tiago. I went to Czech Republic to make the course of medicine. And when I come back, I was always having this dream to go to another places. But then we started to make this business. I decided, no, there's a lot of things here that we can change. And during my time in the hospital, in the health center, I saw a lot of problems, bureaucracy, problems in case of any other type of disease that we're not treating correctly. They would take a lot of time. And when I was going, this is one of the stories. When I was going to meet Jose in the night, we're having some fun. I was always no fun before I reach his home. It's like, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that, because it's not working. This is not so good. And with the time, we grab all these problems and we make this company. So this is where we are, and we are here to present everything that we have now.
Yeah. Well, first, what is palpable is the incredible connection that all three of you have. And I know from the experiences that I've had with you online and with Pedro live here in New York, the professionalism and the commitment. So let me dig a little bit deeper now into the business side of things. And, the business of healthcare is all about patients, whether it's discovering drugs or whether it's delivering services. And part of on the service side is access. So here in the United States, which is a very different healthcare system than in European countries, access is a real problem. And access can be defined with a number of different hurdles. Some of those hurdles are travel time to go to your doctor, expense, ability to connect to high-level doctors, ability to connect to pharmacies with an ease, a seamless quality. It's very often the case that these barriers to access impact morbidity and mortality in millions of patients. And so I would like to focus in on this issue of access. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the technologies that you have brought together from your experiences. You bring together, unique skill sets and perspectives. And I'd like to start with Pedro, perhaps, and talk about how you see the technology specifically impacting patients, for primary care. Let's start off with that. And then I'd like to move into mental health, because mental health is a huge problem in the United States. It's a huge problem everywhere, particularly post-COVID. And I say post-COVID knowing that we still have COVID, but it's certainly not in the pandemic level that it was a year ago. But the mental health problems that are resulting, from many of the problems that afflicted people are very significant. So first, the primary care aspect. Can you give me a sense of currently in Europe, you're rolling out your program in primary care. Give us a sense of what that looks like and what you hope to bring over to the United States.
Sure. And so I'd like to take a step back first and like give a brief context about what we are doing and what we are aiming for.
Yeah.
In order to better elaborate on answer afterwards. And so at Doctor Online, what we are doing is building the first worldwide and truly integrated healthcare ecosystem. And so this has a lot of moving parts. So we started by developing a telehealth platform that is now live in Portugal and Ireland. And so what we want to bring to the US right now and to the UK simultaneously is this telehealth platform that will tackle directly the access and the accessibility problem. But we are not stopping there. In parallel, our team is also developing AI-driven diagnostical tools in order to predict and prevent health issues before they actually strike. And so we are developing tools in order to achieve our mission. So which is to make accessible and preventable healthcare to everyone, anywhere, at any time. And so I think this gives us a broad context about what we are doing and what motivates us. Obviously, it's very, and like you said, patient-centric. And so we are all about not only healthcare, but like let's separate those words and speak about health and care, which both have to be seen in two different perspectives, like you mentioned. And so answering your question and how does tech impact primary care, what we have seen in Europe specifically is we are delivering within the next 15 minutes, we can deliver a consultation, an appointment, patients. And so we've seen an incredible trend within Portugal and Ireland, where we are gaining rapid market share because of that. Because people are in necessity of feeling safe, feeling secure, and having the necessary and timely medical attention they need. And so that's what we want to bring to the US.
That's great. I think the mission-driven, aspect and understanding where the company has its core is absolutely critical, and it goes, I think, to the very authentic coming together of the three of you with three different backgrounds and disciplines. I want to talk a little bit about the doctor side. Tiago has seen the impact on patients when they don't have access. In different countries, it has different barriers. Here in the United States, it's such a large country, and a lot of the country, frankly, is quite rural. So being able to get to a doctor is quite difficult. But also, I want to talk about the personalized quality that's important in healthcare, which for a number of years has gone away because of specialization. So you're focusing in on primary care, which to me is a very connected part of medicine, connected to the personalized aspect of feeling comfort, feeling secure, feeling protected, feeling that there's somebody there. I'd like Tiago perhaps to talk about what he sees from a medical standpoint, and how your company is differentiating itself from some of the other companies that do telemedicine to personalize the care.
Okay, so what we started to do was when we have this consultation about, we have GP or family doctor or general practitioner, well, sometimes people just like to go and book whatever they wanted to do. So in GP, there's a lot of services. You have some kind of doctor's notes. We have a lot of other different doctor's notes. You have a prescription, we have consultation, we need some referrals. We have a lot of things. So what do? We divided everything in products. So people go directly. So in this time, they're not wasting time going to the doctor and explain what is the cause, the problem. So the doctor already knows what they book. So in this way, we skip a lot of time. Okay. We already said that we have consultation in 15 minutes. If you go to the doctor just to see any kind of problem that you have, to book an appointment to another specialty, it takes days. If you are in a hurry, if you have some kind of problem that is messing with your head, you are depressed, you are anxious about anything, this will take time. And with us, this will not happen. So in this part, we try to always think about the perspective of the patient. What he will feel, what time, how many time he's gonna waste doing these things, how many times it takes to go to a specialist after you see a family doctor. So we always tend to optimize and make the fastest way possible. So if we can catch a simple disease at the beginning, this will not go to anything chronic. So we always think about the people. And even with the good products we have, if we see that there is a way to optimize even more faster, we will do it. This we're not just gonna sit down. Ah, it's okay like this. No, we try to make it fast. And in the future, we of course we have a lot of plans with AI, with a way to diagnose, but uh, it will be much more faster. People
So
will have sometimes when they have to go outside home if they don't have to.
great. So let me take this over to Jose now on a technical basis, because what I hear from a medicine centric, a provider centric focus is listening to the patient, connecting to the patient, hearing what the patient's needs are. Let's talk a little bit about the IT side. Let's talk about the technical side in relation to you coming over to the US. Who might you need as collaboration partners to be able to expand this, roll this out, and scale this up?
Thank you, Martin, for the question. It's important to understand what's the long-term vision of Doctor Online. So we want to improve, or in this case, to decrease mortality, to decrease pain, to decrease costs with healthcare, not only for patients but also for governmental entities. In order to achieve this, so the major argument that we have and the major goal that we must achieve is to predict, prevent, diagnose early, treat early, because it's quite costly to treat complex diseases and complex pathologies. So if we can predict a cancer while it is in an early stage, it's so much better in terms of pain for the patient, in terms of costs for the patient family, in terms of costs for the government. So it's important to understand that this is our major goal, our major vision. Okay, in order to achieve this, we have technology to aid us, and there are several aspects of technology that must be put together to achieve this. So you have, first of all, we must have the capacity to deliver a consultation immediately when a patient needs to be diagnosed and to get tested. So this is the first stage, and it's where we are at this time. So we are able to deliver this. But we must carry out also several integrations with several aspects of the healthcare industry in order to capture all the data that is going to proactively allow us to detect diseases early and to incentive patients to get diagnosed and treated early. And so in order to do this, we need to partner with health institutions and test institutions. So we must integrate clinical historical data that we have from the patient with also all the tests that the patient will do during his lifetime, with all the blood tests, imageology tests. All of this information must be put together into an AI model that we should build, and so we can deliver these insights and these prediction tools for improving health, so diagnostic and the treatment. And so in this sense, so these are the partners that we are looking for in the US right now, and not only in the US but in also other countries.
That's great. Well, one of the things that we focus in on at Endeavor is a 4-part assessment of making an investment. The first is that we want CEO founders to be able to be leaders. Leadership is something that is a skill set that you can build out, but leadership also is in part bringing vision to the company, knowing how to build teams, knowing how to build partnerships, knowing how to network and collaborate. The second part is high demand, and the third part is high liquidity. And then the fourth part really is bringing a strategic to the table early in the process to be able to partner with a sense that they might be investors and or acquirers. So I'd like to focus in on this 4-part aspect of how we at Endeavor make investments. And I'm happy to say, by the way, that we just broke our 100th investment since 2009. So that's another important milestone that we're excited about. More to come. Let me talk a little bit about on the demand and liquidity side. So in the United States, the demand for mental health services, for example, is just off the charts. If you want to get a mental health physician to take care of you, it's a 3 to 4 or 5 or 6 month wait. I'd like you to talk about, how you can integrate your product into some of the big tech platforms. Now, we all know that Google and Microsoft are focusing in on various aspects in healthcare. So Google has almost 300 investments now over the past 2 years. 55% of Google Ventures is in healthcare. They have the lion's share in the United States of electronic healthcare records in the form of Epic. And Nuance now in Microsoft, which was a $20 billion investment by Microsoft, has approximately 7%. So I'd like to focus in a little bit about the partnering aspect of how your product can potentially integrate into Epic and into Nuance as a seamless integration of your technology into a large business company.
So maybe I can take this one.
Yes.
So Martin, our aim is to allow our partners to provide consultations in the medical acts, even if they do not have the capabilities for that, or even if they are just focused on a specific single niche or market niche. So as our goal is to integrate or to be present into the whole lifetime of every patient in all their medical activities and clinical activities. So we easily can partner with a mental health institution or company that only delivers mental health services, but they have a reach for hundreds or thousands or millions, hopefully, of patients that can also be looking for other types of services. And we also can even integrate their own mental health staff into Doctor Online. So we promote the integration of medical staff into Doctor Online. So we want to have the as much as flexibility as different types of medical staff into Doctor Online, so that we can provide the best service. So we want to be the best healthcare platform or healthcare solution worldwide. So for doing this, we must be able to easily allow different types of partners that are working different niches in different markets to partner with us. And with all that, there's data around to be captured and to be used. Okay, so if we partner with a very big company that have millions of users for mental health or for physiotherapy, for any other type of medical service, we can all use all this data actively to help the patient. So our focus is always the patient. So if the patient is being treated for a mental pathology, we must know that. In the other medical specialties must know that data must be integrated in order for us to deliver the best diagnosis and treatment for other symptoms or for other pathologies for that single patient.
Great. Let me switch over to Pedro. You are here in New York City. You're in the Techstars New York City, powered by JP Morgan offices here in Chelsea. I want to talk about Gary Stewart and the energy that he brings. For me, it's all about people coming together, and the thing that Techstars is known for is community, which is the reason that Endeavor and Techstars are working together to embed each other's communities. I'd like you to explain to entrepreneurs what that feels like to be part of this growing ecosystem, with people like Gary who are seasoned entrepreneurs and, advisors and mentors, because, this is a struggle that the three of you are going through. It's a joyous struggle, but it's a struggle. I'd like you to talk to some of the entrepreneurs about what that is like, boots on the ground.
Yeah, that's a great question. And regarding Gary and the way he felt us, he made us feel at home, because this is like a whole different continent for us, right? And so arriving here at the beginning all alone, and this is also part of the journey, and it's not easy leaving the loved ones back in Portugal, where we come from. And so Gary did an excellent job, like an amazing, outstanding job at bringing everyone together. And by the second day, we were all friends. I got to know you as well during the first interactions. And Gary is a people's people, so he's a networker, and he's very natural in the way he speaks and interacts with everyone. So I regard him as a friend, automatically.
I want to take that enthusiasm, which is heartfelt, and I want to put it into a business corridor. What does this mean in terms of being an entrepreneur? The ability to reach out to people who can help your company, the ability to craft a story about your company, and then for that story to resonate. Again, at Endeavor, we really believe that for the next 10 years, it's about the leadership in the, founder suite. It's about collaboration and partnerships. And Gary is one of the most well-connected people I know. So I'd like you to talk, to entrepreneurs a little bit about let's say the difference between the importance of money and capital raising. I should point out, that Dr. Online is a revenue-generating company and looking to scale, and so this is a shout out to industry leaders out there, that if you have ideas about how Dr. Online can partner with you, I know that Pedro, Jose, Tiago, and myself are all open to hearing from you and being able to partner with large hospitals, large tech companies, large medical facilities, both in primary care and in mental health. But I'd like to focus in on that aspect, which differentiates the capital raise aspect, from the partnering aspect, and the strength that you get from being, around Gary and Techstars and arguably Endeavor.
Yeah, so I can jump on this one. So in one word, it's leverage. And a couple of days back, you mentioned a really good thing and analogy regarding velocity and acceleration, which really resonated, because we have a really sound and growing business, but it's growing rapidly, but at the same rate over the past 3 years, but really rapidly. And you pointed out that acceleration is the key. And so acceleration comes from those partnerships that over time you create that relationship, and they can open amazing doors and create outstanding opportunities for companies. Because in the end, it's all about people. And so that is why Techstars New York and having Gary on the team is amazing, because we can leverage from everyone's network. And so it's a privilege to be here. And so answering your question, being directly connected with people like you, Gary, and the whole staff and mentors, investors in residence, and everyone at the Techstars office allows us to bridge this gap between industry leaders and big corps, insurance companies, clinical trials companies, etc.
So I want to underscore, the impact that an ecosystem has for entrepreneurs. The word you used was leverage, which is exactly correct. The ability for entrepreneurs, now in 2023, where the cost of money is very high, you know, the ecosystem mandates that you have collaboration partnerships where people can work with you and for you and come to the table with ideas and suggestions. One of the things about New York is it is a mecca. It is a mecca of diverse populations. It is a mecca of ideas, of capital coming together to be able to solve problems. I want to highlight one aspect, which is the diversity that is embedded within the Techstars and the Endeavor communities and in New York City. And I think this is another aspect of true leadership, to be able to harness the power of diversity. Within the cohort itself in Techstars, it's a very diverse founder CEO population. I would like, perhaps, and this is a jump question for any of the three of you, to talk about, that diversity. Perhaps, Pedro, you might be better suited because you actually are in New York City and you've met face to face many of these women, many of these co-founders from different cultural backgrounds, different geographies. And the impact that has, I think, here in New York cannot be overstated. And that is by way of a shout out to entrepreneurs who are mission driven, who do come from diverse backgrounds, to be able to consider plugging into this system. So perhaps you could talk about that diversity issue as it pertains to your company.
Yeah, so in regards to the diversity, what it brings and adds to the table, and especially we were very lucky in this cohort because everyone comes from pretty much a different country. There's a minority of people that are really American. And so this brings a special thing together, which is different perspectives. And so perspective opens like a new lines of thought, and so opens and breaks our initial hypotheses on how we see our business and how we should present it. And so diversity is in essence a different perspectives coming together, and they are extremely valuable to us. So not only connecting obviously with the Techstars team, with mentors and investors, but also with the founders. It's extremely important for us in order to have a better sensitivity about their own markets and their own home countries.
No, that's terrific. And I think, the issue of diversity, of course, goes at the heart of medicine, being able to open up access for diverse populations. Here in New York, I believe that there's just under 300 countries that are represented in the greater New York area, which I don't think there's any place, frankly, on earth that has that many countries represented. Within that comes very specific cultural and healthcare needs. And so, one of the things that we certainly want to be able to do is embed Doctor Online into amazing organizations like SUNY Downstate, which represents a tremendously important part of New York State. Amazing medical centers that focus in on important different diseases like cancer at Memorial Sloan Kettering, where I did my fellowship, and certainly mental health, where Columbia and Weill Cornell are leaders in those sectors. So first and foremost, I am excited about this journey together. I am excited about your story, which personalizes healthcare, addresses patient-centric issues, recognizes that diversity, equity, inclusion, people with different cultural backgrounds have different needs is quite important. The combination of your medical experience, your engineering experience, and your business experience, I think rests on an incredible platform at Techstars, where we can work together to bring amazing collaboration and partners to your door. Part of that is going to happen just in a few days, actually, at Gurney's, which is an incredibly iconic institution out in Long Island in Montauk, where Techstars and Endeavor will participate with this amazing cohort to talk about the next steps and bring investors to the table there. Following that, we're going to have different events at iconic institutions in consulting, in big tech, in pharma, in healthcare. And then following that, we're going to be able to roll out some of this into our relationship and collaboration with the New York Stock Exchange, which again speaks to the issue of the power of New York being able to bring an awareness of great founders and collaboration partners from industry, from investors and entrepreneurs together. So I am just thrilled as soon as my cold leaves me to get back into the office and roll up my sleeves and drive some introductions and channels, some of whom I've already mentioned to you. And I want to really take this opportunity to just thank Tiago, Jose, and Pedro, as well as our incredible audience for participating in the BetterHealth podcast and webinar today. So thank you, all three of you, and thank you, audience and viewers for attending today and supporting our open source platform.
Martin, just some final words. It's been an absolute pleasure and frankly invaluable to us to have such productive and insightful conversations regarding healthcare, business over the past few weeks. And so both BetterHealth and all the Endeavor team, alongside with Techstars, it has been amazing. And so once again, thank you for having us.
Thank you. And thank you, Tiago and Jose. I will see you in the office this week a little bit later. Stay on the line. I'm going to end the podcast here. Thank you, everyone, again for coming. And a quick shout out to Jolene from Seattle. Jenny, hello from New York, as always. Dan, I'm not sure where you're coming from, where you're dialing in from, but perhaps I'm not sure. Perhaps the Netherlands. Thank you all for everything that you are doing for healthcare and for patients. And goodbye to everybody else. Have a great afternoon.